Welcome, guys. I know you haven't seen my face for a while, but I figured I'd do a quick little video on who I want to win Best Picture and all the great awards that we have for the Oscars this year. I can't believe it's finally here already. So let's get into it. For Best Picture, I really would love Dunkirk to win. Dunkirk is by far one of the best films I've seen in such a long time. The war movie that tells us about the little ships that could, basically. It is a wonderful time of a film, even though it is about a very dark time in our period of history. But I think that Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri will win. And that's because with the political climate and all the different things that are going on, I feel that this brings a different perspective. I haven't seen the film, unfortunately. That's it's the one of the three I haven't seen out of all the nominees. So I think, and everyone really that has seen it has told me that it's really great. So hopefully Dunkirk will win, but I don't think it will. So lead actor, I want Gary Oldman, and as everyone's been saying, Gary Oldman he's probably going to win. His performance in Darkest Hours, Winston Churchill, is amazing. He fully encapsulates both, like I said in my review. Check out all my reviews. I'll try to get a little annotation or whatever it is above to get all the links to my reviews. But anyway, as I said in my review, he fully encapsulates the whole kind of personality that is Winston Churchill. He gets the good side, the bad side, the leadership, everything. He's brilliant in it, and he actually committed to it really amazingly. Basically spending 30,000 pounds on cigars and getting sick on them all the time. So I think he really deserves it. Lead actress. But I think Frances McDormand will win. Because right now, with the whole strong kind of women movement that's going on in Hollywood, I think she will win, and she's kind of this like exemplary figure that people are saying that she was really great in this whole role that she played. For supporting actor, the only movie I've seen is Shape of Water, so I'm guessing I kind of want Richard Jenkins, but I wasn't like too crazy over his character's kind of role in the movie. But I think Sam Rockwell will win. So we'll have to see. I'm not really too crazy over this one, to be honest. For the rest of them, I'm pretty certain about. So let's see. The next one is director. Geez. So I obviously I support Christopher Nolan. I really want him to win, but Denis Villeneuve was snubbed. This is like the biggest snub of this whole year. Blade Runner 2049 was a brilliant film. It's so good. It's probably the best film I've seen this year, next to Dunkirk, maybe. And I really feel that they really, really, really missed out on this, and that, like the original Blade Runner, it will, for years and years, be like this cult classic and be this like super revolutionary thing at the time. But it's not appreciated now. I think I've only seen like not seen, but I've only met maybe like 3 or 4 people that have seen it all together, and that's like myself and my brother, and that's it. Maybe 1 or 2 people. But they were completely snubbed, but I do think Guillermo del Toro will win, because the way he is able to kind of make the whole relationship work in The Shape of Water, and how he's able to balance fantasy and reality and history all at once, it has to take a lot of work to be directing constantly people who didn't live in that time period, who don't have that kind of idea of whether this thing can like actually happen or not. Because on paper, like I said in my review, I said I had no idea how this would work. Like a fish man and a mute woman, like how does that work? But moving on, animated feature. I really, really, really want Loving Vincent, not only because it has like a really great cast and like Irish cast, yeah, let's say that. But I think that Loving Vincent is so revolutionary, and it's like kind of, and it's definitely not kind of, in its performance wise, and then also in its artistic wise of animation. It's really great. Even though the whole thing is a painting, it's so brilliant and moving. Like the whole movie, how you can connect to these characters and you connect to these places, whereas you go to a museum and you just see the paintings. And sometimes it's hard for a lot of people to connect to, but through this way, it's really, really brilliant. My prediction, though, is Coco. Everyone says it's an amazing movie. I haven't seen it, but I think Coco will probably win. Now, cinematography. Cinematography is a tough category because there are two really big, and this is going to be a feature in this whole thing, a theme in my whole prediction slash winners list, and that's Blade Runner 2049 versus Dunkirk. Both movies are brilliantly composed in both cinematography and sound, so a lot of that's going to be coming up, so just be prepared. But I really want Blade Runner 2049 because it's such, like, there's such a panoply of brilliant, like, color schemes. There's brilliant, it's just such a great movie, so many good camera shots, so many good, like, not even good, brilliant color kind of coatings, or whatever you want to call it, color spectrum. There's such a vast, like, spectrum that we have in this whole kind of thing. But I think Hoyt van Hoytma is a very close second. He is, the things that he was able to do with IMAX cameras, you're able to go into a plane, you're able to sit in that cockpit and feel the same feelings that these pilots would have felt, the whole kind of terror and stuff like that. You really feel that in this film. You really feel like you're on the beaches, you're in the air, and you're on the sea with these men that are desperately trying to get back to Britain. So I really feel that it's going to be one of those two. But I think it's really going to be Dunkirk, because Dunkirk was the more popular choice. It's the more kind of well-known choice. So the next one is film editing. Dunkirk is amazing. I really want Dunkirk to win. I can't say enough about this film, but I do think The Shape of Water is going to win, just because, again, it's a more popular choice. Dunkirk did really well to a certain extent, but a lot of people had a lot of criticism about the editing and how the way it was structured, because it was structured like not in a linear timeline, like I've said in my review. So I think The Shape of Water is going to win that. Sound editing, again, I want Dunkirk, and I predict Dunkirk's going to win, because the way that they have, the way that it was edited was so, it was so timely. Not even timely. Well, timely is like the theme. I'm thinking of time, stuff like that. Because throughout the film, you constantly hear the movement of a watch, constantly ticking back and forth, ticking, 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 ticking. And then that last second, sorry, spoilers, if you haven't seen Dunkirk, which, come on, you should have by now. But when he's, when our main character is on the train going back to England, or going to wherever it is in England, the watch finally stops, and then you just hear the rest that he gets. So you're constantly, like, your heart's constantly palpitating throughout the whole thing, and you're constantly feeling what they're feeling. Are we ever going to get out of this off? Are we ever going to get off this beach? Are we ever going to get back home? And then you just feel that last second, and it just finally, we're back. We're here, we're safe, we're going to fight another day. And it was so brilliant to get that background noise of the watch going off. And plus, as a watch guy, I loved it anyway. So hopefully Dunkirk will win that. Let's see what the next one is. Sound mixing, Blade Runner 2049. There were a lot of great little noises that, like, we hear everyday life. We hear in everyday life where something's like not ticking, but something's like clicking. Like you hear like a click of a mouse. You hear like the kind of rolling kind of things when he's scrolling through that whole thing. there's a lot of mechanical kind of sounds that were really natural and organic to a lot of the mechanics and technology that they had in the film, and I thought that was really great. So I think that is gonna win, definitely. I'm really hoping it will. So on to the next one. Let's see. Okay, the next one, production design. Blade Runner 2049. I want to win. That whole movie is just a lot of it's practical stuff. Denis Villeneuve and everybody else, part of the production team, did a really amazing job of getting everything to be mechanical, getting everything to be like real and physical, not relying too much on green screen or blue screen or any of that stuff. So that was really great. And unfortunately, I think Beauty and the Beast is going to win because it's a bigger kind of platform or bigger kind of bigger name out there. And I mean, I didn't see the film again, but hopefully Blade Runner 2049 will win against the movie that I didn't see, Beauty and the Beast. The score, okay, so that was kind of hard for me to determine because obviously, like I've said, the theme here is Blade Runner 2049 and Dunkirk. But I think Phantom Thread's soundtrack it blew me away. But it was also so akin to that time period. And Johnny Greenwood, who is, I think it's some kind, I can't remember what British band, but he's a really famous kind of British rock star. And he just did a brilliant job in this. And the music is so akin to the time period, but it's also akin to the whole kind of genre of this kind of like thriller kind of thing. So I think he did an amazing job, but again, I think it's going to be, my prediction is Shape of Water with Alexandre Desplat. It's another kind of soundtrack that's very akin to the time period, but it's also very like old world kind of, or not old world, but old Hollywood kind of soundtrack magic that's really great. Next one, makeup and hair. Darkest Hour should definitely win and probably will win because the makeup that Gary Oldman had to wear in that is ridiculously detailed. And it's almost like you're actually seeing Winston Churchill himself up on the stage. And it's crazy to think that anything else could win in this, to be honest. The makeup in this is just, there's so much details. You can see like the little hair follicles on his face. You can see like where he shaved. Like everything. It's so detailed and so great. And lastly, visual effects. So visual effects, I think now it's a time period where we're trying to go a little bit away from green screen and all that other stuff. Stop relying on it so much because it does kind of take you out of movies sometimes when it doesn't look good. Like a lot of people said recently, Black Panther was one of those films that it wasn't that great in. But anyway, so I think Blade Runner 2049, like I said before, the way it's like so mechanical and so physical, and it's there, it's dirty, it's grimy, it's technologically advanced at the same time, where you have that balance between old world, new world, where it's like perfectly in the middle, but everything still kind of works. And I think that will win as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of prediction kind of thing. I know it's a very quick kind of video. Well, not really, but it's kind of put together last minute. So you guys have to let me know what you think is going to win. What's your predictions? Hopefully you get some right. Hopefully I get some right. Anyway, enjoy the show tonight, guys. Maybe I'll do a video reflecting on no, you know what? Go to my Stardust. I will be reacting to what wins later on tonight. Enjoy. Just got back from Early Man, and I thought it was pretty fun. It's a good animation, of course, but unfortunately, if you don't know early British history or a lot of British kind of references, especially to soccer, you're not going to get the movie as much. And I'm actually surprised that they released in the United